There are a lot of skills that you can learn in Rocket League, but in this video I'm going to go over 5 skills that I think are super underrated that will help you win more games if you apply them in your actual ranked games. So let's get into it. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go. Number 1 is going to be going backboard more often on defense. And this is something that I almost never see done consistently below like GC2. In my replay reviews as a coach, from around Plat all the way to Champ 3 players and even GC1 players, they just don't go backboard nearly enough. And it causes a lot of unnecessary goals. In this background clip right here, I actually pass the opponents the ball, right? And I give them a free shot, which was a mistake by me. But my teammate ends up going backboard and gets an insanely clean save, right? If he stayed on the ground here, this save either doesn't happen at all, because it is very hard off the ground, or it becomes extremely awkward. So going backboard helped him cover way more angles, and lets him actually get this save. And we would have just conceded a goal for free because of my mistake if he didn't go backboard here. Going backboard on defense is one of those habits that will genuinely prevent so many goals, and it's not actually difficult to do. Number 2, fakes. Fakes are genuinely one of the most powerful tools in the game, and I think they're criminally underrated because they're low risk, high reward, and extremely versatile. So in this first clip, the ball is basically just rolling, almost stationary, and I don't really have any crazy options, right? I can't flick the ball, I can't get it on top of my car, I can't really take a power shot or anything, and most players in this exact scenario would probably just take like a 50, right? Which, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad play, but a fake is way more clinical. So instead, I slow down, and I start wiggling a little bit. I start letting the opponent think that what am I doing? Am I gonna go left? Am I gonna go right? Am I gonna go around him? Am I gonna shoot? And suddenly, he ends up being awkward because he's also sideways, and I end up getting us a free goal. Now in this next clip, I go up the wall, and I instantly notice that my opponent is pre-jumping me, right, to cover for my flip reset. So instead, I fake the reset, not instantly using the flip, and I go underneath him because I know that he's going to be covering my flip, right? And then I only use the flip after seeing that the last man is also trying to challenge me, and that helps me convert this 1v2, right? So fakes like this work because Rocket League players love predicting all sorts of patterns. So for example, a lot of people go up the wall in this exact scenario, they will get the reset and then they will instantly use it to try and get over the guy who's pre-jumping. But a lot of the time, you can just break those patterns, which is what I did here, and I went under him instead of going over. And I ended up getting rewarded for it and getting a clean goal. Now, number 3 is forcing the ball for your teammate. And I think this is genuinely the most important skill to master in 2v2 once you're above the GC level. Now, don't get me wrong, it's useful at every single rank in the game, but at the higher levels above around GC, it's borderline overpowered. So what does forcing for your teammate actually mean? Basically, it means challenging not to necessarily win the ball, but to just force your opponents to make some sort of play. So an example here in the background clip, we lose this kickoff, right? And I instantly flip backwards to cover the net here. And what does my teammate end up doing here? He jumps with pretty low boost or zero boost, knowing that he can't reach this ball. So a lot of people would be like, why does he jump? Well, it's very simple. Because it forces the opponent to do something, right? If the opponent does something, my teammate won't reach this ball. But if the opponent does nothing, then my teammate will reach the ball. And obviously the opponent doesn't want my teammate to reach the ball, so they instead have to basically just shoot the ball, which gives me a super easy save. So if my teammate there had just went for back boosts, I would just be stuck in a 1v1. And the chance of me conceding in that 1v1 would absolutely skyrocket compared to the chance that I miss the save once my teammate has forced for me. So this skill is all about understanding kind of pressure rather than possession, right? Because you don't need to kind of get the ball. The guy challenging here doesn't need to touch the ball, doesn't need to do anything. They just need to be there so the opponent sees them and gets scared and, kind of has to make some sort of play. Now, number 4 is staying unpredictable. Now, this one is a little bit weird and a lot of you might be confused, so let me just explain. Rocket League has a lot of unwritten rules, And because of that, players often learn to expect certain decisions, right? But that makes it so breaking those rules sometimes is so powerful. For example, if you watched my 2v2 videos, you've probably heard me explain some challenges that I do in certain games with one simple sentence. I went here because they won't expect it. And in the background clip here, nearly 2 minutes into overtime, opponents have the ball in their corner. In this situation, every single player in this lobby expects me to wait, to fake challenge, to play it safe. So instead I just dive, because I know that he won't expect it. And I end up getting the ball past these two players, and my teammate gets an open net to win the game. And a lot of people in this scenario would call this a stupid challenge, or ball chasing, or brain dead. But knowing when to break the rules and when not to is the exact difference between good players and great players, right? If I listened to the rules, quote unquote, of the game, I wouldn't have went here, and who knows what could have happened, right? We could have lost this game, we could have still obviously won, but we could have lost. So the play worked out because it was unexpected. And even during the play, my teammate in Discord actually said at the time, "Don't challenge here," as I was challenging. And I ended up scoring because of it, right? Because again, it was so unexpected. Even my teammate didn't want me to go, because he didn't expect it to be a good play. And that's exactly why it worked so well. And the fifth and final underrated skill of this video that I have for you is being aware of your opponents. And this skill is a complete game changer, okay? Awareness lets you adapt mid-play instead of just committing to things that you know won't work. So in this first clip, right, we win this kickoff, goes really well, and I go up with this mid boost, right, and I plan to go for a flip reset here. As I jumped up, my idea is, okay, I'm going to go for a flip reset, and then I'll just kind of see how it goes, right? But out of the corner of my eye, and I also hear him, I notice this opponent from the right side of my screen is pre-jumping me. So instantly, when I hear that double jump from him, I instantly change the plan. I'm not going for a reset here, because if I go for a reset, he'll easily have a dunk on me. So instead I go for a double tap, and he can't cover it because he was expecting the most popular option, which in this case is the flip reset, right? If I didn't change my play here, and I wasn't aware that he's pre-jumping me, and I was just fully, staring at the ball, or didn't have audio, and didn't hear the jump, I could just get dunked here and possibly counterattacked. But instead, I ended up scoring purely because I was aware that he was coming and challenging, and secondly, because I was willing to adapt and change my play in real time. Now, in this next clip, we're on my teammate's POV, where he showcases perfect awareness to score here. So he starts off really slow, because he has low boost, and the opponents are far away, right? So he just takes time, and he locks his eyes onto this first man, this defender. And when he sees the challenge coming in, he just hits it around and over the guy, right? And then he again looks at the opponent, becomes aware, and he notices that the second man is still far. So he slows down the play once more, right? And then he sees that the opponent, as last man, has stepped a little too close. So he again then speeds up the play with a quick pass middle that I have an easy open net for. And this is perfect awareness in action, right? Seeing the opponents, reading their intentions, and adjusting the play in real time. Like, I can promise you that he didn't think this entire thing through in that first moment on like 19 boost in our own half. But instead, he was aware of what the opponents were doing and then made adjustments to his play in real time. That is the power of crazy good awareness. But if you want help figuring out what skills you need to practice, I offer one-on-one coaching on Metafy, where I'll break down your replays in a one-on-one call and show you exactly what you're doing wrong and how to improve it. So if you enjoyed this video and you like how I explain things, check out my coaching, first link in the description. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed, good luck in your games, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.